Now that you know the basic of arrays, let's play with doing magic. On this first table, you see this column is called data. What have they done? They've taken, and if you look at the formula, it's asking for B15 divided by C15. Well, we could get rid of these formulas so that we wouldn't get this error when we summed it up. But then we'd have to re-enter the formula when we were ready or had the additional data. I want to keep those formulas around. At the same time, I'd like to see what our sum is so far. Well, you say, I could write a fancy equation for that. You certainly could, and it would work just fine. The idea of it would be, you would think of looking, is error for H12, and pull that all the way down. If it's an error, it will give you that result. Knowing that, then the if statement, you could say, if this is an error, put in a blank. Otherwise, use what's in H12. And notice down here then, this was true, and so we entered a double quote, to show that it's a blank. Once we have that, then it can easily sum it up. Later in the class, we'll show you how you can easily put these together in one, what we call mega formula. But right now, let's look at hiding these errors with our array. If you come over here to D21, you'll see the formula equals sum, and then if error, anywhere in that data, you see that highlighted in blue here with the blue data, then if there's an error, put in a blank, double quote. Otherwise, it leaves it just the way it is and then sums up everything in data. The result is, Control-Shift-Enter, 55. Exactly the same result. Examine this other formula down here where we've actually used an if statement, and all we've said is, if it is error data, then put in a blank, otherwise use the data. Same difference, but it works just as well to have this shorter if-error function. Let's now look down about computing an average that excludes the zeros. If we have sales here, Charleston and Galloway have 0. Perhaps they haven't reported yet, I don't know, but we don't want to include those in the average. And yet when we look at the average function for data 2, that's a set of data, then we get 18,174. Let's instead use an array formula. Average if is actually one of Excel's array formulas, similar to SUMIF, COUNTIF, etc. We say data 2, comma, and then in quotes where it's not just a single number, we're saying that it's greater than 0. That's the syntax that is required by Excel for the average if array function. However, note I can just hit enter. Let me highlight this and hit enter, and it works just as well. Before it was entered as an array, this time as just a direct function. That's because it is an array function, specially written by Excel. Notice other variations down here below as well. The average and then if, because it is not an array function, would require us to use Control-Shift-Enter. Let's now move on down. Here, I am looking for a particular name in a wide variety of names, kind of like picking out the needle in the haystack. And of course, this could be hundreds or thousands of possibilities. In this case, I've named cell D48 the name, and if we hit Control A, you can see this is named name list. So as shown here, we're searching for when the name is in name list. Now what does the OR condition do for us? It's a Boolean OR. That means if any name in that list comparison is true, then we'll call it true, everything true. An AND would say that everything had to be equal in order to be true. Otherwise it's false. So here, if we find it anywhere in the list, then we'll show found. Otherwise, we'll show not found. Now, in this case, with the name Raymond, it's not found. That is my first name, and I've never found that as a first name on anybody's list except close family. When my grandparents were getting married, my grandfather wanted to call his oldest son Raymond, and Grandma had known a Raymond in junior high that she didn't like, and so they made a compromise. They decided to name him Rayman. He was a good musician, but went to war as a fighter pilot in World War II, and later was shot down and killed over Berlin. Therefore, as the oldest grandchild, I got the name Raymond David. Let's try another name. So I'm going to come up here and put Michelle. Now, it says that that one was found. We have these in alphabetical order, so it's easy to see that it's down here. But if I put in my wife's spelling of that name with one L, that's not found.